Hey, this is Detroit, Michigan, actually West Bloomfield, but grew up in the 313. So this is my Class B. I've got a TEMGOT 12 volt, 460 amp hour battery in it, about 6 kilowatts. It's self-heating if you are charging. So there's not a whole lot of charging going on from my solar right now. I don't have anything plugged in over here. So what TEMGOT says, if the battery is charging itself, it will self-heat. But if it isn't charged and you have it in a storage condition, you got to keep it above 14 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's cold in Detroit, 5 degrees Fahrenheit. So I wanted to set up a system to keep my battery warm. And so I built a little temperature controlled heater that I want to show you really quickly. Got all these parts off of Amazon. I'll start with the schematic. So there's my battery. That's again a 12 volt 460 amp hour TEMGOT. It will self-heat if you're charging it. I'm not charging it. TEMGOT says you want to stay above 14 degrees Fahrenheit. So what I did is I bought 3 things off of Amazon. The first thing I bought was this little temperature controller. It's a W1209. They're really slick. So what I did is I set up this thing up in heating mode. That's called P0 mode. There's some online instructions to tell you how to go between heating and cooling. So I put it into heating mode. I set the thing to turn on at a minus 70 degrees C temperature, or 19 degrees Fahrenheit it'll go on. And then I set up about 1 degree of hysteresis. That's the second thing you have to program, the hysteresis. I set it at 1 degree C, so it'll shut off at about 20 F. So right now, this system, when I walked out here, was running because I just checked my BMS system in the battery, and all the battery cells were sitting right at about 20 degrees F, which I felt really good about, and it was pulling about 70 watts. So the other element I have here is my heater. So that heater is a 70 watt heater. It's really made for keeping your water tanks from freezing, but I've winterized this thing, so we're not going to use it this Christmas or anything. And then the third element I put in here, which I have all over my house, are these little Accents smoke alarms in case something goes wrong. Again, in a 10 amp fuse. So the way the system works is the temperature controller, there's a little thermistor that comes with it. When it turns, goes below minus 7 degrees C, it turns on, which is about 19 Fahrenheit. When it heats everything up to about 20 degrees Fahrenheit, it shuts everything off. So that's the whole system. I'm going to show you how I've got it hooked up here. Should have come out here earlier and gotten things set up. But you can see my first go at it was I had my battery just wrapped with this blanket. And I said, that's not going to work to keep it above 14 F, because if there's no heat, it's nothing to keep it warm. It'll just get to whatever the temperature is cold to get in here. This right here is the heater. I left the wrap on here. I probably should have taken it off, but this keeps this compartment above 19 degrees Fahrenheit, right? This little green jobber back here, this little peppermint pill, I don't know, I'm calling it a pill, that's to keep the mice out of my system. So I read that online. We'll see how that works this winter. But here's the little heater, and this thing is warm. It's really nice to put my hands up against because it's 6 degrees Fahrenheit out. So I'm going to crawl back a little further in the van into the garage here, and I'll show you the other part of the system. So back here, you can see I've got my this very bottom fuse on the left. I just put a 10 amp fuse in there, which will limit the system to about 120 watts. The heater is 60 watts. And right down there, you can see my little temperature controller. So you can see the temperature in here is sitting at about minus 1 degree Celsius. And you can see the little light next to it, the temperature controller. That tells you that the relay is turned on and it's applying power into the system. So again, we were sitting at about 20 degrees F. Now this is going to be kind of an eye test for everybody here, but there's 3 buttons on that controller. So if I tap the first button, I'm going to try to reach down there and tap it. You can see I've got the system set to minus 7 degrees Celsius, which obviously, it's going to turn on if it gets down to minus 7. I'm sorry, it's at minus 10 right now, so it's pouring heat into the system, right? It's trying to keep the system warm. So again, that's it's obviously turned on. And then if you look over here, if you hit this button for a long time, I'm gonna go down here and hit it, the first button, you'll see something that's called, it'll come up into P0. And if I touch this button again, you can see I've got it in the heating mode right there. So, and then again, if you play around with this thing, you can set the hysteresis again. So I've got it turning on at 19 and shutting off at minus 20. So when I checked my batteries this morning, they were sitting at exactly 20 degrees Fahrenheit. So the system is working. It's obviously on right now. So that's my system. Oh, like right up here, you can see this little wire that's attached to the system. That's the thermistor. And then finally, this little jobber up here is my Xsense. So that has a base station in my house. And if anything happens out here with smoke, I should mount this on the upper cabinet, right? But I haven't gotten around to that yet. It'll set off and it'll notify my phone that there's a fire in here, right? Which is probably good whenever you have electricity sitting around. So that's I use these all over my house. I've had these from years from Xsense, and these things are money. So I've tested them a bunch of times. We've got their temperature sensor and their water sensors. So that's the whole system. Hope you guys enjoyed that. God bless and have a fantastic day.